thought I would just talk about just stuff in general. Like, I usually try to stick to one topic, but I'm going to talk about stuff in general. So, yeah, I got a zit here. What's going on? I think it's going away. Something irritated my skin. I don't know what it was because I try to keep my hands off my skin. And then it looks like I'm getting one right here. So, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. So, why did I bring it up, right? I don't know. So, because I'm a, what does Rocky say? Because I'm a, no, not a jabroni. He says something, because I'm an idiot. That's why I brought it up. Anyways, so, finances. Somebody said on my, my comment here, they're like, oh, that's rough, my truck situation, right? So the thing is not running right. I have no idea when it will run, when it won't. About 4 times yesterday it wouldn't start. So I'm just kind of on the edge of using my vehicle. And they're like, that's rough. So what do you do when you have it rough, so to say? You're trying to work, you're trying, and you just can't find work. I mean, I had actually gotten hired the other day at a crappy job. And then she's like, come in, call me Friday, which I did. And, we'll finish the paperwork. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I called the place, and this is what I mean by a crappy job, where, there's just no rhyme or reason. So she had forgotten she wasn't working that day. So I'm like half hired, half not, I guess. And then I had another interview, so I went over there, and they're going to call some references, which is fine. I gave her good references, and haven't heard anything. And this is what I mean by they are very slow in Colorado to get back to you for work. And I didn't realize this. When I got here, I'm like, I'll just, I'll do what I've always done. If a job works, that's great. And if I've outgrown it or I'm bored there, I'll move on to another job, continue with my skill building, whatever. But now I'm like, shoot, not so easy over here. And so I need to look at my resume, because I had changed it. And I'm like, maybe that's it. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. And, bless me. So, so that, so I have to look at things differently now because it's not New Hampshire. I have to look at, different things here. So, finished up my exercise this morning, going to church later. I skipped the sermon because I heard a sermon online, and I'm just going to the Get to Know You lunch, which is important when you are trying a new church. And I've tried 50 different churches. I've gone to 50 different churches because I like to, I like diversity. I like a lot of different experiences in my life. So this one is a get to know your pastor kind of lunch. And I think it's important to have that core there before you get too involved in a church. Also, look, I got this bruise. Where is it? Right here. Right here. So yesterday I was giving plasma, and they didn't want to use this arm because of the bruise. And so I'm like, I bruise really easy. I always have ever since I've been a little girl. I come across as tough. I really do. But in many ways, I am very sensitive and very dainty in many of my ways. Sensitive, not overly sensitive, but sensitive to some things. So, yeah, so they're like, okay, we have to use your other arm. So this is the 4th time on my right arm, which is my strong arm. But look, I got some bruising here, and I feel like a druggie. I feel like I'm just getting, poked here and there, and I'm like, I feel like I'm becoming a druggie. Not, that I would, but I just feel like my arms are just getting, bruised here. So I need to, I'm probably going to get some vitamin C because that's what they recommended. Yesterday I went in because I had low blood pressure. I mean, really low. She had tried to do my blood pressure twice, and it was it was 22 over something. So she tried the other arm. She tried a different blood pressure thing, and we finally got it at 89 over 55 or something like that. So she had me take a 10-minute rest, um, come back and retake it, and then it was up to like 110. So sometimes you can just get up too fast or sit down, too fast or something, and your blood pressure varies. But I'm like, I want to see medical just for a minute, just to make sure I'm okay, because I had looked up hypotension, not hypertension where your blood pressure is high, but hypotension. And I'm like, yeah, I have been busy, dizzy, busy and dizzy. And so I'm like, I'm going to go talk to them. So this guy's like, do you mind if we have the medical observer in here because she's observing us today? And I'm like, no, that's fine. I mean, I've always done that with my kids. If they wanted, like, the doctors wanted someone in there to observe, just to help them. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So I got in there and she's like, oh my goodness, you have a beautiful smile. And she's like, you are a beautiful lady. And she's like, how old are you? And I told her. And she's, so we're talking and she goes, how old are you again? And so I told her again. And she just, I guess she couldn't believe it. I don't know. But she's like, your blood pressure is low, very low. So you need extra preparation, which I did yesterday. I took extra, I had my water, I had my cashews, I had 60 fluid ounces the day before. And she's like, no, you want 12, 12 cups of water instead of 8 before you come here. So I did feel a little, not lightheaded, but a little queasy yesterday after giving plasma. So and then the saline just stays with me, and it's like, ugh. So, I don't like being addicted to anything. I don't like even taking Advil. My downfall would be soda. That's my downfall. If I only had three, three, three drinks yesterday of soda. Usually, I'm trying not to have anything until lunch, so nothing today. Because it's hard for me to drink that much water. So I need to drink more water. And then, yeah, exercise. I just got my exercise done because I am addicted to exercise. I hate not having, like, if I haven't exercised by the third day, I am like, definitely the fourth day, I am doing something. And that's beyond my normal, out and about stuff that I do. I like to be active. Ever since I've been a kid, I just, I always have to have something to do. So, this bruise though, this tells me to slow down. And this usually happens right around ovulation, like, 3 or 4 days before. And it tells me to slow down. So when I start seeing bruises on my body, I know I am doing too much, and it's a way that my body says, you gotta slow down. Like, I had a bruise on my leg today, and I'm like, where did I get that from? I mean, it was seriously overnight. And so it's my body saying again, you're doing too much. You gotta slow down. So I think our body does warn us, and we have to listen. So I decided not to go to church this morning and just go over for the free lunch, get to know people thing. And I mean, it's something that I have, it's not something that I want, but it's something that happens to me all the time. And if it's not that, it will be a migraine. And I hate when I get a migraine, and I try to do everything I can, more water especially, to avoid migraines. But it's just the way I'm made, and I have to accept it. So along with finances, I just had my son call me. He had, he had not come home last night for different reasons. So just saw a text. I wanted to make sure it wasn't him. So I have to slow down. And along with finances, like, I must apply, like, on an average 6 or 7 times a week for work around here, and I can't find work. So when this happens, and this has never happened to me before, that I can't find work because I've had like 70 something jobs, I'm always got something going on, always in my back pocket. Do you have to rely on past experiences? Like, once, like, I can live on very, very little, very little. Someone just asked me If you had an ideal budget, what would it look like? 100,000 a year. And if you had to just work off of your needs, what would that look like? And I'm like, oh, probably this much with my resourcefulness. So, you got to be able to use your past experiences. So for me, it's knowing again that God provides everything, trusting Him. There was one time I was in the trailer and we had lost water again. And so I just figured like they had shut the water off up front and they were doing work. And so I just was boiling water. You know, I boiled water for baths, I boiled water to drink and everything. And I had told the lady it had been a few days we were out of water, and she's like, "Why didn't you call?" And I'm like, "Why would I? I just thought that, again, they were doing construction." She's like, "No." She's like, "No, not at all. Our water, all the water should be turned on." So I forgot what the problem was, but she's like, "No, call next time. You just went through that for no reason." And I was just like, oh, okay, and this is where I have a hard time communicating sometimes. I have a hard time getting things out, and I can be very self sufficient. And even praying, I can be self sufficient instead of going to God, even though I have prayed a lot in the past. Like, I mean, I've done like 3 hours in the morning of prayer time if I really work at it. So, so I can go without, a lot of times I just pray about things and God provides it. So, use your past experience to get through the hard times, I guess is what I'm saying. I know I'll have work. I know I will. And I am doing DoorDash with a truck that isn't working. So I have, a few more backup plans with that. So you always got to keep on going. You always have to keep on having more ideas, pulling in resources to make it. So that's what I got for you now, guys. Thanks for joining me.